Hi, it's Sarah here from Thriving Solo, and I'm here today to talk about getting reviews as a solo health professional. Often, reviews are the deciding factor for new clients that are coming to see us, the ones that haven't been referred by somebody else. And that's, something that is very natural, but it can give us a little bit of a problem. You do great work, but you may feel icky asking for reviews. I know that I certainly did. So today we're going to look at a clear plan for setting up a simple review routine that basically runs in the background. You're not having to focus on it all the time. So let's have a little look. What are we wanting to chat about today? We want honest reviews. That, for me, is a key thing, not perfect ones. You can see sometimes when you read reviews, the ones that you feel have been set up, and you know which ones are genuine, where it's perhaps not the clearest language, the best language, but you know it's real. So we want to have a look at, okay, it's okay to ask for a review. You don't need to pressure people. And you can add a gentle reminder as long as you keep it ethical. You follow any local rules, any rules that are set by your governing body, and any platform rules. So we're going to have a little look at how we can create a steady flow, not just a one-time review push. And in order to get that flow going, we need to make sure that our foundation is straight before we start. There's no point in getting the nerve up to ask people for a review and then later find out that you've given the client a broken link, a link that takes them to the wrong profile, or that your information is old and so when they get there they think, is this the right place? Am I in the right place to leave a review? So you want to make sure that things are set up straight before you start. We're not getting it perfect. It wants to be good enough that it works every time. That's what matters. And we're going to have a look as well at the right review platforms. So you want to pick out your main platform first. Usually that is going to be Google Business Profile for local clinics. And I've already covered Google Business Profile in some detail in another video, which I'll link to here. You might want to choose one or two backup platforms based on your niche and where your clients search. So it could be Yelp, though there are some sort of drawbacks to Yelp. It could be Facebook. It could be Health Grades if you're in the US. For me, it was Find an Acupuncturist directory listing kept by the British Acupuncture Council. So it was my governing body and the directory that they kept. And I also had a Facebook page. So I had Google Business Profile, often used to be called Google My Business. And I had the directory listing kept by my governing body, and I had my Facebook page. I do recommend you keep it simple. If you ask for reviews in 5 places, you'll get reviews in none, and it means that you've got 5 places that you've got to keep your profiles up to date. So I would recommend keeping it at just a few key ones. Like I say, we've already covered Google Business Profile, but just a reminder to check your profile and make sure that you've got correct name, address and phone number, the NAP, the correct category, and photos that look like you, that look real. Now, what you want to do is make review requests part of your client experience. Build them in to the day-to-day, and that way you're not going to feel uncomfortable asking for a review. It's going to feel natural to your clients, and you're going to ask them at the best time for both of you. And picking the best time is based on what you do. It might be after a clear win, when you've discussed improvement, discussed progress, and they've confirmed that things are moving on, that they've had an improvement. It might be after the third visit, once they've had a bit of time to get to know you and trust you. It might be after a discharge or a care plan milestone. Whichever way it is, I do recommend having what I think of as a trigger phrase, something that you say that just becomes part of what is a normal conversation with your client. So it might be something along the lines of, if today felt helpful to you, would you be open to leaving me a quick review on Google? So keep it short and then just stop talking, see whether they're open to it. You might want to possibly add, that it helps other people find me. You also need to think about how you're asking. Are you going to ask them in person? I personally always preferred to ask in person because I could read their body language. Are they uncomfortable because they actually don't think they've had that much of an improvement? Or is it more that they don't know how to leave a review? That is, for my client group, was really common. So it gave me a chance to read that, but you might choose that you want to leave them a text message or an email as part of the follow-up for their session. Try not to make it just about asking for a review. Make it a follow-up, hope that, you're feeling better. If you are feeling better, would you please leave me a review? So like I say, think about how you're going to do that, and I'll include some sample text that you can swipe in the blog post that goes with this video. So have a look at your review link. You can direct link to your Google review form from your Google business profile, and then you can put that link in places that clients already look. So, if you have a checkout screen, then pop it there. Appointment reminder email, post-visit text follow-up. Like I say, I prefer the follow-up to the pre-appointment. It feels more natural, but whatever works for you, your niche, and your client group. You might have a small card near the desk where you're working that has a link on it for them to use. You might have a sign at the desk if that works for you. You could make a QR code that takes them directly to that review link. So, work out what works for you and your audience. I do suggest that you say things like, would you share your experience? It helps local people find care. Even a short note is helpful. Again, this just gets back to that barrier of them, feeling uncomfortable about, well, what do I say? Please avoid asking for a 5-star review. Just ask them for an honest review. Please avoid offering discounts, gifts, or entry into a draw. Certain platforms, it's against their rules, and again, it just doesn't feel genuine. I prefer to avoid that. Avoid telling them what to write. However, like I say, if you feel the stumbling block is that they're unsure of what to say, then you can just give them a few prompts. Just, explain that they could just say, what they came in for in their own words, if they feel comfortable, but they don't have to talk about their condition or issue. They could talk instead about what the session felt like, what changed for them after a few visits. Because I'm an acupuncturist and a lot of new people are a bit wary of needles, then, I would often ask them to just leave a few words about how it felt, what they were worried about before they attended and how it felt when they did attend. And they would quite naturally talk about the needles and the fact that the needles, aren't painful. It's not like the sort of needle, the hypodermic syringe that the doctor uses when you go there. So just giving them a steer rather than the words to write can be really helpful at opening up reviews. So one of the things then I would suggest is that you start to build a routine. As I say, when are you going to ask them? How are you going to ask them? And then build that into your daily routine so that when you hit that milestone or that bit of conversation where it feels natural, then it comes up anyway. Please think about having a tracking system, just a checkbox in your notes, something like that, a tag on your software if you've got software for your practice, something that lets you know when you last asked them for a review, because that's going to put off a lot of people if you ask them every time they come in. And if you don't see them for 4 or 5 weeks between treatments, you may easily forget that you asked them the last time they were with you. If people do hesitate, then give them an easy exit. Just say, all good, no pressure. It might be, if you want to share feedback privately, please email me. And then if they do share that private feedback, ask if they mind if you share it onwards. Quite often they won't mind that. They're just nervous about whether they've used the right words in the first place. Like I say, if they say no, it might be that they don't know how to leave a review or what to say. And that is something that you could cover in very general terms in your FAQs, or, it could be one of those blog posts that you write every so often. So when you do get reviews, please respond to them, even if they're positive. It's just nice to acknowledge as well that somebody's taken the time out to leave a positive review. Again, we've covered this in another video and blog post on the online reputation management, so I'll link to that as well. Make sure that you do keep privacy front and centre, and that you're not sort of calling out what their condition was that they came for treatment for. And, you may want to just let them know that they don't need to cover that in a review. Use a safe template for responding to positive reviews, just something along the lines of, thanks for your kind words, I'm glad you had a good experience. And we can turn reviews into more reviews. Add them to your website. You could have a testimonials page. Like I said, it could be on your FAQ. Knowing that there's a review there and people can have a look and see, that's what they want me to write as part of a review. Yeah, I feel comfortable with that. That can give them the confidence to therefore go forward and leave you a review. Share one review at a time on social media. You can hide the names. You don't need to put names, just blank them out. You can use reviews to improve your messaging. So if there are common phrases that clients are using in your reviews, make sure that they are reflected in how you write blog posts or even just your website front page to attract clients in. Keep it real, no heavy editing or marketing voice. So just a few common mistakes that can slow down getting reviews. One is asking too late after the moment's passed. It could be sending a long message with 3 links, so they're not sure which one. Asking only when you're feeling behind on reviews rather than as part of the natural flow day to day. Forgetting to ask long-term happy clients. We often sort of start to take those clients not for granted, but we forget that they may be willing to write as a review, and it's probably going to be the best one. So a simple plan: choose one main platform, maybe have one or two backups, set up one direct review link and possibly one QR code. Ask at the right moment by having a script to hand that makes it easy for you, and start by asking your happy long-term clients. If you're going to do it through a follow-up, send the follow-up within 24 hours of their appointment. Reply to reviews with a short, privacy-safe message, and stick to the routine for a month before making any adjustments. See how it's working for you. So I hope that's helpful. As I say, I'm linking out to a couple of other videos and blog posts for you to be able to link back to this, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for stopping by.